Welcome to the Determined Mom Show, the only marketing podcast dedicated to guiding mom CEOs into tranquility, wealth, and multiplying those precious moments. Welcome to this episode of the Determined Mom Show. Today we have a very special guest, Leah Hall, who is a brand and marketing strategist. And she is going to share with us how the importance of being strategic in developing a business and why multitasking can delay success. So welcome, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. We're very excited for you to be here and to share your knowledge with us. Very, very excited. Before we get started, I have one question for you, and that is, how did you get started in your business and being able to work from home and be with your kids?
So I started in my business officially after I left my corporate job after 10 years. I literally left in an ambulance because I was so stressed out, so overwhelmed. It was one of the most toxic environments I've ever been in. And I grew up literally in this firm. But waking up, being rushed to the hospital and spending 3 days in the hospital was a big enough sign to say, you have to do something different. I had an infant child at that time and a toddler, and I knew that they needed me. I wanted to be here for them and my partner. And so really transitioning into something that allowed time freedom, more time with my family and financial freedom really was the key thing for me.
That's crazy. That's a crazy wake-up call for sure.
Horrible wake-up call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of women can probably relate to that. Maybe they haven't gotten pushed to that very, very far edge, but they're getting close, especially in this pandemic and with everything going on with election, all of the things. You know, it's so easy to get there. So yeah.
It's very easy because we, as women, we're always moving. We're always doing things. We're always saving people and all the things in the home and whatever. But if we don't listen to our bodies, like our body is telling us when we're too tired, it's telling us when we're dehydrated, it's telling us when the environment we're working in or going into is wrong. And we just have to really settle ourselves and listen. And it's not easy. Like, that's why I ended up in the hospital. So it's not easy. We just have to be intentional about it.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also hard to admit when you're feeling that way because there's like a stigma around like, oh, you should be fine. You just have to take care of the house and the kids and your job. And I mean, that's it. Like, yeah. Like,
run your own little world is what they're telling you. Run your own little world and not have a sweat about it. Like, don't even drink water. You're good. You're hydrated. Just keep going. That's what they're telling us. Yeah. So I have to chuckle at that because it's crazy.
It is. It's totally unrealistic. But so let's talk about our topic. So how important is it in being strategic when you're developing your business?
Okay. So a lot of times women in general, like we know we can do it all, right? Do we have to do it all? No. But as women, we're just built that way to manage a lot of things. And a lot of women carry the title of busy as an award or something to be proud of. But truly, being busy is not brilliant simply because we're wearing ourselves out a lot faster than we need to. We can make mistakes along the way. We're missing out on family time, making money for ourselves in our business, building our clientele simply because we're busy. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're taking 25 things or 5 things. I'll just start with my all-time fave. We have 5 buckets of items that we're working on, and each one of those buckets is different. It has no stepping stone to the next. It's not leading our client on a journey. It's not taking them to our product or our services, and it's not making us money. We're just doing all the things thinking, oh, I have 5 different ways to make money. In essential, we're doing too many things at one time. So I help a lot of my clients take those 5 buckets and manage them. So instead of each bucket being different, we make it the stepping stone for their client journey. So we may start with their social media post. We may lead into their free resource. We may lead into their email nurture sequence. We may then lead into some type of video or small offer. But each one goes from being 5 separate different journeys into one streamlined and strategic journey so that the client is building the know, like, and trust with their audience. And they're truly gaining the support of their audience and their community to say, I want to support Amanda in whatever she's doing, right? I want to be able to learn more about X, Y, and Z. And so it's really being strategic helps us to make more money, to save more time, because it's more precious than money, and really be able to enjoy this journey of entrepreneurship and not burn out in the end.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. I love the bucket analogy because, and I even see this as social media is a bucket, but then within that you have all of the little buckets that everybody feels like they have to be on. Like I have to be on Instagram. I have to be on Twitter. I have to be on Facebook. I have to be on Pinterest. I have to, and even that one bucket starts overflowing and you're like, oh my God, I can't even handle this one bucket. How am I going to handle all the other ones, And without that purpose of them being connected, there's no point of handling any of them, right?
Exactly. I use something called the content life cycle, and it literally, the diagram is a circle, and it's pinpointing the 8 to 9 different areas of social media or platforms that someone can be on to assist them in growing their business. Mm-hmm. And people can decide, or they sit at their computer and like, oh, I just don't have content. I just don't know what to do. So they don't do anything. The content life cycle allows you to take one piece of content and break it out into this full circle to be able to hit all of those points. And a good thing that you said, or a key point, is they're trying to be on so many different platforms, but do they really have to be there? Right?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use Twitter. I was watching a show and they're like, hey, I joined the Twitter. And they're like, it's not the Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even know how to get started on Twitter. I go on there for some things just because it's like, oh, you're supposed to have a Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have LinkedIn, and I'm okay with that, right? My people could be there, but I don't know how to show up for them on LinkedIn, so I don't. Mm-hmm. So that's the key thing. Show up for your audience where you feel most confident and where they are. They're waiting for you. You just have to show up for them.
That's awesome. That's great advice right there. Just that one little tidbit of information can totally transform someone's business right now. So
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do we do to kind of lay out those strategic steps? I know you have the activity that you described, the circle. Is there any other things that we can do to kind of lay that foundation? And how do you work with your clients to kind of get that going?
There's a few different ways. So with my clients, each month, we start with developing their content strategy, which is part of their topics, right? Their topics and their categories are going to be included. So it's the top 5 to 9 things that really relate to your business, relate to your brand. So if someone were to come to your page on Monday, they would be like, oh, that's Amanda. I can tell just by the photos, right? You want to have that consistency all throughout. So then that next Monday when they come back, if you have a whole new set of colors, your voice is different, or your design is different, or you're now going from talking about being a mompreneur to being a veterinarian, it's like, what happened? So it's really about knowing who you want to talk to, knowing what you want to share with them, right? And so the first part is knowing your categories and your topics. Then each month, my clients receive a content guide where it's prompts. It's 30 prompts where they can go in and they just complete the sentence. And a lot of the times, this is a key for you all as well, is if you ever feel like, oh, I just don't know what to type, sit in front of your computer, turn on your camera, go into Zoom, do a Loom, all those Ooms, they really work for business, and just sit there and talk. Talk as if you're talking to your best friend, your ideal client, a previous client, right? That content, then have it transcribed, or if you can do text to talk, you'll have that content then to use for your business. But so with my clients, they use this. Now, it's just one key thing that I tell them is if you feel like you can't type, just sit there in front of the camera and read it aloud to finish out your content. So when you go into the content life cycle, start with a blog, right? Write your blog. How many words are we using or characters are we using in the blog? That's plenty for an entire week, right? So then you can just extract the information that you need for your social media post, for your Facebook post, which is social media as well. If you're using Pinterest, guess what? You can now create a pin that goes back to that blog. So it's not as difficult as we make it, but we just have to be strategic. most times people might say, oh, I have to write a blog, then I have to write a completely different email, then I have to come up with social media posts. So then they're filling, again, all those buckets, right? Instead of just having that one bucket and then slicing it out. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a huge way to kind of like bigger picture, but also like macro at the same time. Like,
Exactly.
you know, like I love that. Now, I have a question about that. How can we avoid multitasking? Like when we're doing that, like, okay, so it feels like everything that you said is kind of multitasking, kind of, you know, and like in a way, like, okay, I'm going to repurpose it for this and this and this and this, but how do we avoid that?
Right. Okay. So the multitasking is completely different from the repurposing, right? So the multitasking might look like I have one page open for my blog, I have Planoly open for my social media, and I have Canva open, right? So I'm trying to write a blog, come up with the design, and then upload it to Planoly and write at the same time. Instead, in my calendar, I'm going to block off non-negotiable time for myself as a business owner where I'm just doing content. So in my business, I work Monday through Thursday and I take Friday off, not only because I need to recharge, like the weekend, we know that's really not for us, right? It's for the husband or the spouse, the partner, and the children, right?
Yeah.
So the Friday, I really like to just take it for myself. But my non-negotiable time is my Friday so that I can sit down and say, okay, what do I need to get ready for next week? But in your calendar, so that you're not multitasking, go ahead and create that time, even if it's for an hour. A power hour for yourself will do wonders, right? And then decide what is that one task that you need to complete. If it's your content, the big start is your blog, right? Even if you don't have a blog yet, it's okay. Go ahead and write it as a blog and then use that content. You're going to write so much information there that you're going to have information for that week and then weeks to come. You can always repurpose it. So when you go from multitasking, it's just setting that one, say, power hour for yourself that's non-negotiable versus the multitasking or the repurposing, of using that content and then shuffling it out. So your blog will have majority of the content, but if someone doesn't read your blog, they still get those pieces along the way. Does that help, Amanda?
Oh, that helps immensely. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. And I love the fact that you said that even if you don't have a blog, write it as a blog post because you're still able to like organize your thoughts and, you know, get all of that information out there. And I do use voice typing for blog posts because who has time to type all that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. So what are you working on right now in your business that we can utilize?
So I'm working on a few things.
Okay,
not
good.
at the same time, though. Not at the same time. Not multitasking.
She's practicing what she preaches, which is good.
Oh my goodness, it works when you can really focus. So the main program or intensive that I offer for clients is called Branding with Focus. And focus is follow one cause until successful. And so even knowing that that's what my program is called, I still have clients that come in and I'm like, okay, I want to do A, B, and C. And I'll ask them, which one has most priority? And so I'm transitioning into more of VIP days so that we can really pinpoint that one task, that one offer, that one product that they want to get done in one day, right? So you can get it done in one day and you can make money. You can make money even faster because we nail it that day and it covers your branding. It covers the strategy behind it. It covers all the pieces that you need to really be successful. So I'm working on transitioning from a 6-month program into just VIPs only. And it's fun. It's also scary for me because I love working with clients for 6 months. Like we build this whole relationship and most of them don't leave after 6 months. They're still with me. Or, you know, the partnership is still going. The other thing that will be available for those who can't do or aren't ready to do the VIP day is the opportunity to get all of their branding and branding assets done for their business so that they can then take that on themselves and have it. So they don't have to worry about designing what their social media looks like or their banners or their PDF workbooks or anything like that. They get all of that as a bundle and then they're able to go and make life even prettier out there in social media.
That's awesome. That would be a huge help for anyone,
Yeah.
especially the workbooks and those kind of things, to have that branding already laid out. I think that would be an immense help, because I know a lot of the business owners that I interact with, that's like one of the challenges, like, oh, I hate creating workbooks. It's like the last thing that they do. It's like, but it really should be like the first thing, because it lays out the content. And so just having that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It helps greatly, because then they have all those pieces and they're not worried about, oh, is this my brand color? Is that my brand color? And I mean, they receive all the products, the branded assets that they need for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but they get all of the assets. So they're not, an email, like their email signature. So they're not struggling to create that on their own.
That's huge. That is huge. I think, honestly, I see that as the biggest struggle when I see other entrepreneurs, and, even myself, I struggled with that for a while until I figured out like what my colors were and like how I wanted to present things and that kind of thing. And I do have people like comment like, oh, I know that it's you because, your colors, like just scrolling on Instagram and things. So it really does matter, and it really does make a difference. So.
Exactly. And I can say that too. As soon as I see your items, I'm like, oh, wait, I need a double tap, give it some love.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I am super excited that you are here today with us. And do you have any other little bits of information? You've already honestly blown our minds with all of the value that you've provided. However, I want to give you the opportunity to share anything else that you might want to give to us.
Well, I mean, it's always a pleasure meeting with you and, partnering with you and chatting with you. You're doing such a phenomenal job for moms, and it's really rewarding to see the work that you're doing, you're developing. Let's see if there's anyone that wants to start or begin diving into what their branding may look like. For your audience, I would offer them an opportunity to do that at a, not discount, let's say bonus rate. How about that at a bonus rate?
That sounds good.
Yeah, where they can meet with me, we can go through that and we can get them started, because it is very frustrating, and that can hold people back from being truly brilliant in their business, simply because they don't feel confident enough to show up based on what their social media or their branding may look like. And we shouldn't even hold ourselves back. It doesn't have to be perfect to start. So if they would like to connect with me, I'm on Instagram at leahhall.co. I'm on Pinterest under leahhall.co, and then my website is leahhall.co as well.
Awesome. That's a very generous offer. Thank you so much. And I have one more question for you before we go. And that is, what is your favorite part of being able to work from home?
Oh my goodness, my children. My daughter decided to find her Wonder Woman cape last night, and she's worn it so much. So it's the red one with I think it used to be yellow. What is her color? Like yellow and gold or something, the big W. And so she's worn it so much till the W was gone. It was very faded, but I could still see the outline. And she's like, oh my God, it's gone. Somebody took it. And I'm like, no, honey, no one took it. And so I showed it to her, and then I put it around her neck with a little Velcro. And so she started flying around the house, and that made my day, because it allows my children not to be stressed, right? Like not to be stressed knowing that they have to go to daycare or they have to go to a stranger's house or what may be happening there. And so just knowing that my son and my daughter are happy children. Oh my goodness, they're spoiled, they're rotten, but they're very happy children. that makes up for it, because I could have missed out on that when I went to the hospital. So I could have not come out of the hospital. And so that just helps me push a little harder every single day. And that's the number one thing about being able to work from home.
Wow. That's awesome. That's a good story and a good reason too. I love those little capes. My 3-year-old does that as well with her. I don't even know. It could be, I think it's Supergirl, but yeah, same thing. Yeah.
They're so cute. I mean, how can you not just spoil them rotten? But yeah, I have to find a good balance, because now her favorite store is Target. So.
Oh no. Yeah, we don't go to Target. I literally never take my kids in stores. It's really bad. Well, probably mainly because I don't like going in stores. And then there's a whole thing there. Let's not get into that. But well, thank you so much, Leah, for being here and sharing all of your branding and marketing expertise.
Thank you for having me, Amanda. I appreciate it.
This episode of the Determined Mom Show is brought to you by the Google My Business Master Course. This course features 6 modules and 18 lessons that will walk you through step by step how you can master Google My Business and get ranking in your industry for the locations you want in just 6 to 9 weeks. This course is robust and it features step-by-step instruction. You can always access it at tdmmarketingacademy.thinkific.com, or you can simply go to thedeterminedmom.com and click on Google My Business course. As a thank you for being a loyal Determined Mom Show listener, you can save 20% by using the code PODCAST.